How about a stuffed breast of veal? These are all the ingredients. I don't think I left anything out. There are many ways you could stuff this, but I chose all these ingredients. I think it should come out good. Apples, give it a little sweetness with the currants. The shallots, the celery, and the carrots will go in the pan, so we get a nice sauce with the tomatoes, fresh tomato sauce. Spinach is the stuffing with soaked bread, which is going to be soaked in chicken stock, and some pecorino romano cheese, and a lot of fresh basil inside, with the peppers, and maybe a little onion. The first thing we have to do is make a pocket. So I go from the side, and if there is no pocket, just slice down like so. Keep on going, but most of the time you have the pocket there, and if it's not the size you want, which it isn't for me, just run the knife a little further down on the bone, and then you have a nice pocket. We'll go a little further down also onto the end there. There's a good pocket. And then we'll go about making the stuffing. Now I looked at the size of the pocket, then I go, this should be about the right amount of bread for the stuffing, because there are other things that are going to be mixed in with this. So I'm soaking this in chicken stock. Just enough there. That should be absorbed. And to this, we're going to add the spinach, the cheese, and of course an egg to hold everything together. So we'll let this soak for a little while, and we'll get the rest. As you can see, that's the basil leaves. I kind of took a big handful, pushed it in to a 1 cup measurer, and I'm leaving it whole. Well, I took 1 8-ounce whole apple and diced it up fairly small, put it right into the bread mix quickly so that there's moisture in there, so that should keep the apple from darkening. Could have put lemon juice with the apple, but this should be alright. I'm also going to put in there 1 large shallot, raw. A lot of people say when you make a stuffing, nothing should be raw inside, like for turkey stuffing. Well, you know what? I'm doing this for a few hundred years, and I like to stuff a turkey, and they come out delicious. Never killed anybody yet. Okay, we're looking good here. The bread is getting nice and soaked. And building this up right now, we might have a little bit left over here. Well, I just threw the fresh basil in there and a 1/2 cup of frozen spinach, which has been squeezed quite a bit. So all the moisture's out of it. We'll mix that good again. Now we got to get the peppers in there, and we're going to have to season that. Let's get a few more items in there. 2 eggs, because I want to make sure that this holds together. When I cut that veal, I don't want this to fall apart on me. So that's 2 eggs. There's the peppers. It's very green, so now we have red. And a little more red with the cranberries, which is 1/3 of a cup. And 1/3 of a cup of pecorino romano cheese. Mix this up, and I'll show you what to do with the leftover. I'm not going to waste it. And I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of tomato sauce in there. It's not much, but there's going to be tomato sauce when we're braising this. Oh, certainly one more item. This would not be any good without garlic, so I'm just cutting the garlic in half. 8 cloves of garlic. because you like to bite into that later. We'll go about stuffing it, but first just put a little bit into that pocket, a little bit of salt, best you can, and a little pepper. Even though we're going to season the outside, still need some on the inside. Now, we're going to stuff this thing, really stuff it, because there's a lot of stuffing. So what you do is just keep on packing this in as much as you can. I added another egg to the mix. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, because I want this to stay together, and it really is. It's more than just a bread stuffing now. It's more like vegetables with a little fruit in it. So I'm going to stuff that even more. Now we have to close up the opening, so I'm using these skewers, or you could tie it with string, which I don't have, so I'm doing it with this. If I can bend this back, just like you're sewing. Don't stick yourself. Try not to. Get this back into that piece of rib. And get some more in there. It would be easier with string, just tie it around with butcher's string. I'm going to get a couple of more of these in there. Help me out finish closing this up. The piece of meat that's on the bottom, we'll take it like this, pull it over, and just go right through, and there we go. Next thing is to do is we're going to sear it. Put a little salt on the outside, turn it over, do it to the other side, and a little pepper. And we'll get some olive oil, or your favorite oil, or butter. You can use butter in this, olive oil. Let that get hot, and then we're going to put that right in there. Well, that's smoking nicely. I'm going to cook this on top of the stove instead of the oven. All you have to do is brown this. And while that's browning, not burning, we'll cut up the shallot in big pieces because this is part of the sauce. Let this brown in there with that. And the carrot. And also the celery. And we'll throw in a couple of bay leaves. Get a little color on the other side. Let this go for about 3-4 minutes. Well, let's see how we're doing. It's been 1 hour, simmering nicely. I'm going to turn this over. Try not to make a mess. And we'll keep simmering. Well, it's been another 20 minutes, and let's see how we're doing here. Turn it back over. Another 10 minutes and I think we're done. Hey, it's about 30 minutes a pound. This is 1.5 pounds. I mean, this is 3 pounds. And it'll be 1.5 hours and 10 minutes. I just tasted a little piece right over there. 1.5 hours, not done. We're gonna go 1 hour and 45 minutes. Then we're finished. I won't even test it. Even though they say like 30 minutes to 1 pound, most of the time this is roasted in the oven. But I'm cooking on top of the stove. It just seems to be easier. As long as it cooks, it cooks. I want to taste this. The stock. That has a nice flavor. Okay, that means the sauce is going to be good. Because when we're done with the veal, we're going to take the veal out. We're going to finish up and make a little sauce with what's in there. We'll strain it first and go from there. Okay, that's 1 hour 45 minutes, and we're going to remove this breast of veal. And then we're going to strain the sauce through a chinois. We'll let this rest for about 20 minutes before cutting. And then all of this, nice color. Good taste. I'm going to strain that and then thicken it. We're going to just strain this through a chinois. And then I'm not going to use a roux to thicken it, because I don't feel like having any more added fat. There's enough fat right in the sauce, so instead I'm going to take some, I'll let you know in a second, I forgot the name of it. As I said, I'm going to use Wondra. So these professional guys out there will make fun of this, but you know what? You see all the fat that's in there? That fat has flavor. So if we're going to use a roux, we're going to put more fat in there. So since the fat is in there, we'll just thicken it up with the Wondra, and it'll be the same as if we were skimming all the fat off, which you don't want because it has flavor. Anyway, and also, every time I cook something like this, the carrots aren't in the topping, but they're delicious. Well, don't waste them, eat them. Well, we've come away with about 3/4 quart. So we're going to put this in here, and it's perfect for my application tonight, because not only am I making what I'm having for dinner is the breast of veal with some whole wheat pasta and some corn. So that plus the topping will make a nice sauce for the pasta also. Alright, let's finish the sauce. It's boiling. But let's go over this again. You see all the fat that's on top? This fat has flavor. It's the veal flavor. Normally you would skim the fat off and then you would make a roux and thicken it up. And what is a roux? Flour and fat. So the fat's in there already. So let's just put a little and go easy with this wonder. But you can, there's another way of doing it too. You can mix a little flour with cold water as a paste that can run, and you drizzle that in here. You can thicken it up with cornstarch too. But if you want to make a roux, go right ahead. And I'm not going to make this too thick. So give it a chance. Because after a few minutes on the plate, the sauce is too thick, it'll look like glue. As long as it coats the spoon, which it will, that's perfect. And as far as the taste, it has a lovely flavor. Veal always gives a good flavor. Okay, so that'll simmer, and in a couple of minutes I'm going to cut the veal. So we're going to cut this now, take out the sticks, and usually what happens is when you saw the piece when it was raw, it looked sizable. But now, you see how it shrinks? This bone here and that bone there are really not portions at all, because the meat shrinks in and it just won't present a good plate. So we're going to cut that, and hopefully, if I did right, it should stay together. This piece right here, the bone, is not bad, but it's not a full portion. So we'll just leave this, and meanwhile, I'll nibble on that. Nice. This is the piece that is going to look good on the plate. Just cut through where the bone is. How's that look? There's a nice appearance. So what we're going to do is place this on the plate, and the next one. So it's three portions, 2 center cut or 2 middle pieces with the bone, and the third person can have these 2 outside bones, which will give them about the same amount of meat as that one. So I changed my mind as far as what we're going to do with the rest of the stuffing. This one portion here can use a little bit more stuffing because it was at the side. These 2 pieces, that's enough stuffing. They'll go on the plate, put a little sauce over it. The stuffing you can save. You can put it over a sauteed piece of chicken, make a pork chop, put it on top of a pork chop, put a little olive oil in there and use it as a topping for, no, not for pasta because you got the apple in there, but you know, the taste is great on that. So after you taste, well, after you taste it, you'll figure out what to do with it. Anyway, I'm going to show you what the plate looks like the way I'm eating it tonight. Okay, let's say we want to keep this, you're going to keep it warm for later because you have other things to do on the plate. Just take some of the sauce, put it over it, and just take the skillet, cover it, whether it be with a cover that fits or a piece of aluminum foil over it, and just put it off to the side on the burner, off. And then after you finish everything else in the dish, just put a low flame on it keep it warm until it's time to serve. Okay, we're all done. And now I'm just going to present the plate for my dinner tonight. That's one large breast of veal. And the other one. And the sauce is going to go right over it. Like so. And then in here, now this is a meal. You have some nice whole wheat pasta. To go right there. And aside from that, we also have a piece of steamed corn. The only way to cook corn. Enjoy.